In 2025, Silver Bay welcomed over 1,000 ministers and their families for respite stays in our Spiritual Life Center. In conversations with many of these spiritual leaders, I was often struck by how, although they recognized they needed rest from serving others and brought up feeling emotionally and physically depleted, it didn't always occur to them that they could be approaching ministry burnout. So in this video, I'd like to define what ministry burnout is and share with you the 4 types of indicators that may suggest the need for rest and renewal. First, let's define what we mean by ministry burnout. Burnout is simply a state when a minister's vocational responsibilities outpace their capacity for recovery, resulting in an ongoing state of exhaustion that diminishes their professional effectiveness and their personal well-being. I want to share with you some of the early signs of ministry fatigue that might signal a need for you to take respite. Let's start with the emotional indicators. First, a minister might experience cynicism. Cynicism is feeling like, in your ministry context, things won't or can't change. It can quietly drain hope and even make the meaningful work you do feel pointless or ineffective. Irritability is another emotional indicator, feeling easily annoyed or frustrated, often with little provocation. A third sign that could point to ministry burnout is just feeling disconnected from your emotions. People who feel disconnected describe it as just feeling numb or that they've tuned out the people around them. Some use words like feeling empty or flat or operating on autopilot to describe the numbness of burnout. There are also behavioral indicators that could suggest ministry fatigue. Some ministers begin to withdraw and their productivity declines. They're less engaged in meetings or projects, or sometimes it's the opposite. Pastors will rally and commit themselves to overworking, thinking if they just come in early or stay late or work on their days off, they feel they might catch up. Another sign is escapism. Escapism is when a person daydreams about a way out of their ministry context, which is sometimes appropriate, but combined with other indicators could signal ministry fatigue. There are also spiritual indicators. Faith, something so essential to the work of ministry, can, under the stress of fatigue, begin to feel mechanical. For example, you might say that prayer is very important to your spiritual life, but feel there isn't time to pray. You read the Bible or devotions while preparing a sermon or presentation, yet bypass devotional time meant to nourish your own soul. I call this the honeybee effect. Where honeybees sip the nectar of flowers for fuel, spiritual leaders sometimes take small sips, if you will, of spiritual nectar from their sermon prep or other ministry duties, rarely taking in the amount necessary for their own spiritual nourishment. Finally, there are relational indicators. Under the stress of fatigue, ministers can experience detachment from those they serve. This doesn't mean they aren't caring people. That's an important part of what it means to pastor. Detachment is when you carry out your duties, but without full involvement. You may find yourself praying when you're expected to, or listening to a parishioner share, but inside you feel like you're just going through the motions. It may not be what you want to do, but it's all you have the capacity for. And lastly, an important marker for burnout is a feeling of resentment. Resentment is a strong emotion that other circumstances at work might produce. Here we're talking about resentment in the context of ministry burnout. It's feeling like no one cares about the stresses you're experiencing. Whether that's true or not, it may be how you're feeling. You may feel like you carry an unfair share of responsibilities, even if you're the senior or only pastor on staff. Resentment here comes from feeling overextended. There's just too much to do. You're constantly working at tasks that seem never-ending, and you're feeling under-supported by others. If that's where you are, it may be time to pause, to take an honest inventory, and to remember you're not meant to carry this alone. There is space for rest, support, and renewal, something we do every day here at Silver Bay. To learn more about addressing ministry fatigue or to reserve a donor-funded pastoral respite stay, visit our website at silverbay.org/respite. You'll find a link in the description box below.